If you go to chaos and fs master field and this class default, search for dynamic and set this force dynamic to true. When we hit at the geometry collection that have the anchor field, it will force it to break. Let's try this. Now when it's hit, the column also break. You can see. So we can use this as the breaking for the anchor field. Now we can duplicate on this FS master field, Ctrl D, and rename it to FS destroy anchor field. And go to class default and set this field fall off to box. You can use this become the box and set the scale to 1 and search for force dynamic, set it to true. And you can drag it inside the scene and compare the size with the anchor field, so it have the same size. We want to reverse when our ammo hit the anchor field, then we spawn the same size of this master field that force the anchor field to become dynamic. Again, we add, click on this box volume collision, add box collision, and name it box collision. And this box extend the same size as this box, 50 and 50 for Z. And we have the box collision, search for collision, and overlap all dynamic. We want it to overlap. The scale is 50. And save. Now go to BP destruct support building to event, and we need to add function. The function name is found destroy field, and we add input. The variable name is anchor, and variable type is scene component object reference, and call is valid. And if it is valid, spawn actor from class, and we spawn this destroy anchor field, and we get world location. Delete this, transform, get world rotation, and get vertical. And then we mode it to variable. The variable name is destroy anchor wheel wrap. Get destroy anchor wheel wrap. Set activation type. Set it to trigger. Then set wheel lifespan to 0. Set radial magnitude to 0. And we call the trigger CE trigger and compile. And then we create a new custom event. The event name is receive damage. Add input. Input name is hit and vector. Go to first person blueprint PP first person projectile, and on the event hit we only do one to avoid it calling this found many times. And for this building damage, or do one and as to BP destructible building. When the cast goes through, we call receive damage event and connect this hit location to the location. Then add variable. The variable name is hit component. And variable type is primitive component. And set it to array. And duplicate this hit component. We name it to collision components. And we clear this first. Clear. And add new function. Function name is find hit component. And then we add input. Variable name is position. Add local variable. The name is nearest component. And set it to single. First we set it to empty. And add another variable. Name is distance. set it to float and set this to 1 million. Then call multi-sphere trace for object. Connect this position to start and add. Radius is 120. Make object type array. We choose world dynamic. Ignore save and out hit. For each loop, we get the result from the sphere trace and break the hit result. Get the hit component, get object name. And if the name equals 3 times, equal exactly as box collision that we just add to the anchor field. We create a branch. If it's true, it is the anchor field. So we get the hit component and get world location. Get hit components, then add this hit component to the array and find the distance from the component to the position, to the hit position. And if it less than the distance, create a branch. If it's true, we set to the distance and set nearest component. For this component. So we want to find the nearest component of the sphere trace when it trace for component. And when it complete, we return and add variable. Variable name is nearest box. Variable type primitive component object reference and get this nearest component. Go to event graph. We call this new function is find hit component with this position of the hit position, and it's valid. If it is not valid, we stop it here and we promote this to variable. The name is nearest field. Then we get hit components, and for each loop get collision component and add unique, and get overlapping components from the hit component, and call for each loop. And for this array element, we get object name if it exactly equal to the box collision name. Create a branch. Get collision components and add unique. For this array element, and get hit components, add unique. When it complete, when this for each loop complete, we call another for each loop and get collision components and call found destroy field, and we spawn destroy field with the same scale and location rotation of the anchor field that we get from the tracing. Let's play test. And now you can see it's bound when it's overlap. We have a little bit of problem because our BP first person projectile didn't call this BP destructible building. We need to go to collision component and find this collision and set it to overlap. And we block only the destructible object and compile. Now let's play test. And now when we hit, we spawn this destroy anchor field. And when that destroy anchor field overlap with another, it creates a chain of destruction. Example, if you duplicate this and move up, and it still have the overlap place, duplicate again, duplicate again. When it's hit with the wall and overlap with the anchor field, the anchor field that overlap it will found that destroy anchor field. You can see and we delete this. But we still have the problem because when we hit the first floor, the down overlap also spawn. So we don't want the ground floor spawn the destroy anchor field. But if we hit the down ground floor, it also spawn the upper floor. And in the event graph, this we get anchor field that overlap. And next we need to remove the anchor field that stay below the hit anchor field. Get the collision component, call for each loop, and after this complete, we call this collision component, get world location, and break the vector. Get nearest field, get world location of the nearest field, and break it, break vector. And for the Z is greater or equal to this nearest field, and create a branch. If it is false, we get collision component and call remove item. And remove this array element. And when we complete, we call this spawn destroy field. And C to comment on it. Rename it to remove some anchor field. Let's play. And now when we hit, and when we hit the first floor, it's not called the ground floor. If we hit the ground floor, it called both the ground and the first floor. Now we add the door and windows to this building. Click on this and add new scene component. Name it door window. And go to building meshes, geometry collection, door windows, and select all of this. Drag it to this door window. And now we place all of this door and window. If we hit play now, all this window will fall down because it don't have the anchor. But I think this balcony and the door should use in the wall. It's better. So go to construction script And this ball array, we want to add pin. We have 3. And B9, B10, and B2. You can see this name. This is B2 and B10, and this outside the ball is B9. So set B9 to index 35, 36, and 37. And for this B2, it is 37. And the collision, anchor collision, is this generic 10. Go to geometry, the 10, add another wall, set it to 37. And this is the 7 anchor. So add wall geometry, set it to 37. Another one is 4 wall geometry, 37. And this door, this anchor 13 and anchor 16 that overlap it. The two geometry 13, add array, 2 wall, and 17 and 16, add another 2 wall. Then set to 35 and 36. And the 16 is 35, 36. Compile. Save. And let's see. This door and the balcony have the anchor. So now we need the anchor field for our door and window. So go to chaos, duplicate this anchor field. The name is anchor field WD, and open it. Set the anchor color to purple. Click OK. You can set any color. And go to destructible building, Pixel, select it. And click on this default scene root, add scene component. The scene component name is anchor field WD. And add this to the field. And the name is anchor field WD generic 18. Continue from our 17. And move the location to this window. And make sure it is not overlap with other collision, because we don't want it to trigger when this anchor will destroy. And the Z is 1.5. Scale 1, 1. X and Y. Move it up and duplicate it. Move it. And this door, X is 1.5. X is 2. And Z is 2. Move up. Uh, 2.2. And duplicate this. And for this geometry WD, we need to add this window anchor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Set this to 1. Go to construction script and duplicate this wall array. Rename it to window doors. Set this window doors. Make array. Get all these window door geometry collection and arrange it. And then duplicate this anchor field. The name is anchor field WD. And set make array. use this anchor field WD. And we need to add to the geometry WD data. For the first anchor is this one. It have two, the outside window and the inside window. So add two array, and the name is 11 and 12. If you have question where I get this number, you can find this. This is anchor field WD24, and inside the array it have 7 index, and the geometry WD is 7. So we see that this window is B5 and B6. And go to the construction script and see B5 and B6 is 5 index, 6 index. So we add this 5 and 6. And let's save all. Now let's initialize this window and door anchor field. Get anchor field WD array, and for each loop we call this after we complete the initialization of this wall and column. Copy this variable and set it to anchor field instance. Get geometry WD, find, use this array index, then break. Duplicate this column array, name it to window door array, and then clear this array. And call for each loop. Get window doors, get item from the array element, and get window door array. and add it. When we complete, get anchor fill ins and add geometry fill. And copy this window door array into geometry collection and comment on this. Name is initialize window door and compile. Let's save all. Inside this add geometry field, we forget to cast to anchor field WD because we use different anchor field. So add variable, name it to WD. Variable type is Boolean. Create a branch. If it's true, we cast to fs anchor field WD generate this geometry collection or for each loop. Get initialization field and add and make this to add compile and go to construction script, and for our initialize window and door set this WD to true. And now when we play, we initialize the window and door successfully. It's not fall down because it have the anchor field. Now we want to remove the window and door anchor field when it's overlap. So go to BP destructible building, and in this collision component for each loop, we get owner and get class. Move it here and equal and select fs anchor WD generic and create a branch. Next the loop. If it's true, we remove. If it false, we continue to check the height of the anchor field. And now let's play test. When we hit, the window can break. But when the wall is break, it left with the window that float in the air. So we have to fix that. Go to BP destructible building. And for the wall that have the window, we can select all the wall and search for event and notify when it's break, set it to true. To event graph, and this wall on chaos break event. Now we add new function. Name is found destroy field dw, and add input. Name is geometry collection, and variable type is geometry collection component. Big reference. So for geometry collection of component object reference. Then get initialize field. For each loop of this initialize field has to fs anchor field wd. Then get collision component and found destroy field. Compile, and we call do one. For W9 this wall, this window is B5 and B6. Get this B5 and B6. Make array. Add this to the array. Call for each loop. And call found destroy field. And this wall is W7. Scroll down. Add chaos break event. Call do one. Copy all of this. We change only the geometry collection. This B3 and B4. And next is ball. We on chaos break event, copy, paste this, and this window B11, B12, B11, B12. And this door on chaos break even. Do one and spawn this destroy field. Because we have only one geometry collection is B1, so no need to make array. Next is this wall on chaos break even. Copy this array in this window. B13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 13 to 18. B14, B15, B16, B17, B18. Move down. Connect to the array. Another wall is this one, W11 on chaos break even. Copy this. Paste it. And B7 and B8. Direct it to the array. Comment on this. Name is break window. Sorry, I create a mistake. I call spawn destroy field. It have to call spawn destroy field DW. And copy and paste it. And compile. Save all. Now let's play test. And when the wall is break, it's break the window too. Or the door. If you have any problem with the roof that is fall down, you can show bone color and you can see the piece of this fracture should be have the small size that can overlap with this anchor field to initialize. So to fix any problem, select that geometry collection and choose fracture, and then we reset and avoid two level fracture. Only one level, so it's easy to break. If it not break, it will floating in the air. And choose uniform and fracture. And delete. You can save all. Now, when we hit it working correctly, we need to add the effect to make it look better. And to stop the simulation of the debris, go to chaos and drag this slip disable field. Set the scale to 30 and y is 30. And set the scale to 40. Y is 40. Set it to disable. I used to show you how to create the Niagara Trail for the breaking debris. So I will put the card at the right corner of the video. And this is the Niagara. Just migrate it. Game. Okay. And go to destructible. Go to building destruction. Content. Select folder. And we migrate it successfully. This Niagara system. Now go to BP destructible building and select all these column. Search for event and set notify, break, collision, and trailing. Also, all these wall geometry collection, set notify, collision, and trailing. Go to project setting, search for generate trailing data and set it to true. And we save. And this trail Niagara, we move it inside the scene. Move it up a little bit. And user parameter, use trailing data. The max number is 25. And min speed to spawn is 10. And save. Let's play test. Now when it falls, it create the smoke. Can go to this material to adjust the smoke. Go to this trail Niagara. Click on this simple sprite burst. Scroll down, and this is the color of the smoke. Can adjust it to gray, and the scale of the sprite to make the smoke bigger. Adjust it to 100 and 120. Save and play. Now the smoke is bigger. And for this tutorial, I use this realistic starter VFX pack and add to project. Search for building destruction and add to project. And after we add it to the project, can go to this realistic starter VFX, particles, explosion, duplicate this explosion big A, Control D, and name it to A2. Open this. We don't need the spark, so we delete this spark. Yes. And delete this spark L. And we save. Go to first person blueprint, first person projectile. After we call building damage, we call found emitter at location, and the location is impact location, and search for this P explosion big A2, and the scale is 2, 2, and 2. We auto destroy it, and that's save all. Play test. Now it's explode, but the color of this explosion is too dark. Go to M explosion B, open it, and we multiply the base color with 5 to make it to base color. Now we get brighter color, and we want the opacity to be more opaque, so set it to 0.5. Multiply it with depth weight and apply. Save. Let's play. We have better looking explosion. Now let's adjust the speed of our ammo. Projectile movement. Set it to 8000. Copy this. Max speed. Search for speed. Okay. Play test. And this is the end of our tutorial. Thank you very much for my Patreon members who are supporting me. You can go to my Patreon to download the project. If you like this video, please hit like and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next tutorial.